I'm off to the local radio station to talk about depression and antidepressant drugs, and I'm nervous, but not perhaps for the reason you might think. Why am I nervous? Well, I'll tell you in a minute. Why I'm negative about positive psychology. Back to the story, because I've got a story to tell you. So I've got some top tips on writing the report. If you are studying an undergraduate degree in psychology, I encourage you to think critically. It helps people like me stop doing stupid things. So I'm just walking down to the radio station in Townsville. Got about 5 minutes before I go into the studio, so I'll be quick with this. I'm not usually late for things, but they had to reschedule by... Sorry about the noise. They had to reschedule the interview that I'm about to do, so I'm going in less prepared than I'd like to be. So here we are.
If I told you that antidepressants were more experimental than set-in-stone science, you might think that was a pretty controversial statement. After all, 1 in 10 Australians do take antidepressants at some point in their life. You're about to meet a local man, who claims that the chemical imbalances in our brains that antidepressants are designed to target might not actually be all that they are cranked up to be. More on that one soon.
ABC, North Queensland. So, I'm going to be talking about depression and antidepressant medications. And it's only about a 15 minute interview. But yeah, I'm nervous.
Disability around the world. 1 in 10 Australians are being prescribed antidepressant medication on a regular basis, and in fact Australia actually has the second highest usage of antidepressants anywhere in the world. We're second only to Iceland. These drugs, we're told, are designed to rebalance the chemicals in our brain. That's the dominant theory on what causes depression. But today you're going to meet a North Queensland academic who has some massive reservations around this theory and also the rate of prescription of antidepressants in Australia. So for this week's Realm of Research segment on North Queensland...
Okay, so I've just come out of the studio. I just finished the interview. I mean, I don't think I sounded pompous. I do think I sounded like an idiot. Hopefully not a pompous idiot. So the reason I was nervous... So yeah, it's because you want to get it right. Essentially what I'm talking about, or what I talked about in that interview, was that idea that actually things like depression aren't caused by chemical imbalances in the brain. That actually these things are caused by things happening in our lives. And also that antidepressant medications haven't been proven to work. And actually we know that they can be quite dangerous. Now I get nervous talking about that stuff because this stuff impacts people, so you've got to get it right. But you also got to make sure that people don't get hurt by this way of talking. That if you take away from people the medical diagnosis that they have, what have they got left? What have they got left? So the medical diagnosis is really effective because it gives people recognition that they are in pain, they are in distress, they are in psychological distress. It gives people that recognition, and also it avoids a situation where people are made to feel responsible for their own distress. The alternative explanation is that people's distress are caused by the conditions in which they're living, the relationships they have with other people, the security of their income, their sense of personal safety and safety of their family, all these sorts of things. They're social factors, and they're very real, and the effects of those things are very real. The effects of poverty and poor housing, the effects of violence in our communities have very real psychological consequences and cause real pain. So that social understanding of what mental health and problems of mental health does offer a way of thinking that can be useful. So the alternative to thinking about mental illness as an illness is thinking about mental illnesses caused by the social conditions under which we live. It's quite convenient that the medical understanding that there's something gone wrong with our brains rather than something that's gone wrong in our lives, or something that's gone wrong in our communities, something that's gone wrong in our society. To think that it's something that's gone wrong with our brains, effective is a convenient way of thinking about things for our politicians. Now, the reason I got nervous in that interview was not that I worry about making politicians nervous, because I quite like that idea. No, it was the worry that I was going to make drug companies angry. Because you don't want to make a drug company angry. These are corporations. Its prime purpose is to deliver profit to their shareholders. And where you have people speaking out against this model of psychological distress as being something biological, as something that's gone wrong in the brain, when you have people speaking out against that, or even speaking out against the drugs that are being used to treat these so-called mental illnesses, those people who speak out can gain the attention of the drug companies, and it's not the sort of attention you really want. But I do have a story to tell there. Surprise, surprise. You kind of have to be a bit careful. Now, I'm pretty much flying under the radar. You know, I haven't had much attention from those guys. I mean, one of my students got the attention of the drug industry. She was doing a project looking at people who were trying to withdraw from antidepressant medication and some of the problems they had in terms of, how addictive, well, I don't know if you know, but antidepressant medications can be quite addictive. Some people have real trouble withdrawing from them. So she was doing a project looking at people's experiences. She was working with a group called the Seroxat and SSRI support group in the UK. So her research involved doing a survey of people's views, and she posted a few posters here and there on various websites asking for volunteers to participate, and she had one response from someone who wanted to participate, and they emailed her, and in the email said, "I've been on Seroxat," which is the medication that we were looking at, the SSRI antidepressant, called Paxil in the US and Paxil here in Australia. So his email said, I've been prescribed Paxil, Seroxat. I was prescribed it by mistake by my doctor, and now I'm addicted to it and I can't withdraw from it. I would really like to hear more about your study. But this email was accompanied by an auto signature. Those email signatures that automatically go on to your email when you send them. And in the auto signature it stated that this person emailing us was a senior manager in GlaxoSmithKline, the corporation that manufactured the drug that we were doing research on, Seroxat. My student got very nervous, as did I, and the student eventually withdrew from that research project. It was her master's project. She left psychology in the end and pursued a different career. I don't think it was wholly because of that experience, but that experience certainly caused her concern. It caused me concern. Effectively what was going on, it's hard to say, isn't it? Maybe it was a genuine email, but by the looks of it, it was someone from the pharmaceutical company trying to insert themselves as a mole into the research project. You know, someone at a senior level in the corporation. It's hard to believe, really, that a senior manager in that drug company would have been prescribed one of their own company's drugs by mistake by their doctor, and then to write to us saying that they were having problems withdrawing from it and they'd become addicted to this drug and would like to help our research. Kind of beggars belief, really. Anyway, that's my little story. I didn't really come under the heat, but my student did. But there are many other stories by other academics who have been pursued by the drug industry in much more harmful ways. David Healy is one that comes to mind. Anyway, till next time. Just checking on. No, I'm not being followed by any pharmaceutical reps. So I'm safe. Back at work now. So, till next time. Ta-da.